Man, it's good to be back in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, Technologist Forum is here. What's the day? God, it's November. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Yeah,
Y'all ready?
let's go. Let's
Let's
go.
go. Listen, we got Tanya, we got Jim, we're streaming on all sorts of platforms all over the place. We family, so we just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Um, we're gonna have a discussion about what I'm calling the rise of everyday AI. I just gave the co-host that premise, no other background, no other information, but the idea is I just wanted to have a conversation with us, amongst the three of us, and also those who are brave enough to leave a comment or a question. And you can do that by putting a Q in your comment, and we will address it. Let's start there. When I say the rise of everyday AI, and again, I'm a premises. I thought it is 36,000 feet in the air a couple of days ago. So if it's a little off the cuff, y'all pray for me and y'all forgive me. Channy, let me start with you, ladies first. Your thoughts, because you live in the world of AI, right? You are building
Yeah.
products, you are building solutions, you are building use cases for
Yep.
AI for folks. Talk a little bit about what that means when you hear the statement, the rise of everyday AI.
Honestly, for me, that means that the AI is really permeating every part of our life. It's not just professional, it's not just business. Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs and marketers tend to gravitate towards things like this. It's new tech, right? The shiny objects. But it's not just for us, it's also for anyone who is doing anything, any activity, whether you're in school or if you're at church or if you're doing your day to day grocery shopping, creating recipes to cook for the evening. Whatever it is you're doing, AI as a tool is now something that I think more and more people are starting to find ways to use it. So for me, everyday AI is about the idea that it's being adopted um, into households, businesses, you name it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's become a part of our system and how we work and live
You sure you
and
did?
play.
You didn't peek at my notes, did you? Because you said a whole lot of things that I got written down here. I'm making sure that I didn't share this. Okay. Great, great. I love that, Jim. Let's have you tail off of that because I want this to kind of be the crux of the conversation. Everyday AI. What is it that you do? What is it that you're seeing from the conversations that you're having? Because you're leveraging all these tools and platforms as well.
I mean, I will say that I was probably a little slower to the AI party, and part of it was because it's like, oh, I got to pay for all these different subscriptions. But then, thanks to Dustin Stout, I discovered Magi, which was great because it's got a bunch of tools all under one roof. But then, what's really got my attention of late, well, one, Gemini, because if you've got a business enterprise Google account, you get access to a lot of those things. What is it, Nana Banana or whatever, Banana Nana, Nana Nana,
Nano banana.
and and
But you're gonna have to get the names right if you're gonna come
I
around.
know. Well, I'm old, so that's my excuse. But what I really like, as a Mac user, is I'm really enjoying what you can do with Atlas. And so, as we talked about, I don't know if Tanya's using it, but I'm actually using Ecamm interview mode in Atlas tonight as opposed to Chrome.
Yeah.
And I like how it will let you analyze your stuff because it's basically next to whatever window you got open, and you can ask it questions specifically off of that, and it gives some amazing feedback. How to improve titles, list. In fact, I was thinking with that Ecamm competitor that people that
Mm-mm.
are browser-based people use,
Mm-mm.
it might actually tell you how to make your title and description of your live stream better before you even publish it.
Mm.
And I think that could be very helpful because one of the things too is, I mean, even though what in theory, these platforms, whether it's uh, Perplexity, whether it's Atlas, are using Google, or sometimes they say they're using Reddit to search for things,
Yeah.
you still can ask the question, I want my content to be found by ChatGPT and found by Perplexity. And that's where I've seen it helpful in giving you those clues, because
Yeah.
even if it ends up in Gemini, you have to start thinking that way first, because even I'm sure both of you, when you go search on Google, what's the first thing you get now? You get an AI summary,
Yep.
right?
Right,
It's
right.
not giving you what we were used to back in the old days. Um, and so whether you like it
Which
or
is
not,
yesterday.
yeah,
Talk about it.
whether you like it or not, you have to, you know, go with the times and start at least getting into understanding how AI can help you. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean you have to do everything with AI, but I think, it's no longer one of these things where you can just put your head in the sand or you're going to get left behind.
Love that. You said a whole mouthful there. And we gonna unpack all of that. And Jim is on one today, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me say what's going on to the people in the building. Curtis, we see you, sir. Appreciate you for joining. Tech Troublemakers in the building as well. And MDH, we see you. Appreciate you for being here, my friend. So let me ask this, because you said a lot and it all is relevant. I want to go back to the fact that we're using AI to do so many different things. And you mentioned a couple of browser platforms. So yeah, everyone knows about Chrome and the integration with Gemini and Perplexity and Comet, and now OpenAI's Atlas. The pervasiveness of AI to do so much for us at any time. Again, like you said, you do a regular Google search. It no longer just shows you the listing of items or of things. It now actually goes through AI mode by default. Is that too much? Are we moving too fast in the terms of where human engagement interaction is being replaced by these algorithms? But is it doing the old Steve Jobs when he took the headphone jack out of the iPhone? Right, he took it out before we thought we wanted to take it out. Everyone was up in
Hmm.
arms, but now we realize no one's using wired headphones anymore. Is it kind of that same mentality? Do you guys feel that we're moving too fast with all of this new introduction of technology, especially around AI?
I think the danger there, James, is that because you get this summary, you don't question it, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
danger, because we as humans need to remember that critical thinking is still important. And my concern is that with AI, people are not thinking anymore, right? They're just, oh, well, it told me this, right? It's kind of the problem we have, we'll just say, between the left and the right, is people don't want to check facts. Like, oh, well, it told me this, so it must be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the concern that I have, is that people are just going to take things at face value, as opposed to like, I want to see this. I mean, I was on a show earlier today, AI and social media shortcuts, and talking with my friend Rachel from Bad Redhead Media, and she was talking about
Mm.
how she's been using with
Mm.
books, and we'll ask it like, hey, give me four, some quotes to use for, quote cards out of this book, and she has to double check it because sometimes it's making stuff up,
Right.
right? So it's not always giving you facts. I think that's the concern I would have in regards to you know taking it at face value.
Tanya, I want you to address this question from Roy here. He says we are selling our digital souls to AI. He's addicted to it and he uses it in everything that he does. That
Hmm.
right again, that's my fear. And I'm a glass half full guy for the most of the part, but again, and I'm a technologist at heart as well, enterprise technologist. And
Yeah.
but some of you, I don't know if I've told you, some folks I've told my personal secret, my personal journey, and my personal uh, feeling about social media.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll get into this offline. I don't need to share it with the world, but it's a positive and it's a negative. But
Yeah.
what Roy is just saying right there, your thoughts on that? Are we moving too fast? Is it overshadowing is it overtaking creativity? Let me ask that.
I think if you allow it to, so, okay, let me give you the broad answer. The broad answer, I think, is yes. But I'm going to give the but with the dot, dot, dot. And the dot, dot, dot is there is no way it's going to slow down now. Like, this is the Pandora's box. It's already open. It's not going to be shut down. It's not going to be closed. So we have to think about, at this point, we can't think about how do we shut it down and how do we slow it down. It's already at pace and it's just going to get faster. We've been
Mm,
seeing tech. over the past, 10, 20 years, we've been seeing it speed up. I remember when I first started in the corporate world and we had those big giant phones. Remember those big ones that we had to carry like with a suitcase? I used to have to carry that when I entered the workforce. And now here we are 30 something years later, and we're carrying little bitty things like this, or even a watch that I can make a phone call on, right? So we know that the pace is there. We know that the tech is going to continue to move on with or without us. What our job is now is for those who are taking accountability to understand and to learn
Mm,
what AI can do. It's on us, it's incumbent upon us to educate people, to make them aware of the privacy issues, the security issues, the bias issues. Those are concerns for me. The bias issues, the accuracy, all of those things. We need to have awareness and at the same time align that with an understanding of how we're leveraging it for good. Because we know there's bad actors that are going to use it.
yeah.
But at the same time, we need to combat that by understanding how it can be used for good. So, yeah, I do think I agree with Roy when he says that. But I also understand that there is no way it's going to slow down. It's not going to stop. So look, as my kids were coming up, my thought was I can either get on social media and understand it and be at least 2 to 3 to 5
Mm,
steps ahead of them, or I can lag behind and let them just run with it and figure it out on their own and stumble, which we really can't afford to do, especially anymore. And so my decision was I'm always going to be a few steps ahead so I can pull them along and help educate them and inform them on what to be aware of. And that spread into me doing the same thing for my clients, for my client base. So for those of us who are ready to embrace it and to take it on, it's not that we're taking it on because we think that it's safe
yeah.
or that it's accurate. It's in some cases, some instances, we're early adopters because we want to understand it to the point to where we can share back with other people what the dangers are and the
Yeah.
benefits are.
Yeah. That's where I
So
wanted to go. Are we the stewards? We the ones that are, again, maybe 1%, 10% ahead of the everyday consumer, or the early entrepreneur, the early solopreneur, whomever. Are we the stewards of this technology? And I kind of answering my own question, but I want to hear it from you guys because you're smarter than I am. Should we lead by example? Is kind of what I'm saying, because we have kind of seen some of the good, some of the bad, some of the ugly already, right? It hasn't been that long, but we've seen some of that iteration, and folks that are just now coming in, now having access to all of these tools, all of this capability. Should our content that we create as digital creators rise above the noise of that AI slop? Should we, it's fine to put out the content that shows the usage of these various tools, but are we entertaining, educating, and enlightening? Kind of doing all three. We can entertain all day, but the education piece as well.
I hope so. I
Okay.
hope that's what I think the three of us are doing that. Is everybody doing that? No.
Watch your tone now. Okay, now
I'm,
watch. See,
look,
she,
I'm not
right.
calling out people
She
by
calling
name or
people out.
anything, but I'm just going to say
Yeah.
that that's something that is inherent within your business character and ethics anyway,
Yes.
right? We were doing that. The three of us were doing that. I know prior to the whole AI boom. So we have a duty to continue to carry those same ethics and that thought leadership into this new world of AI and tech and automation and all the things that we do. I think that this is one of the reasons why I love to do workshops now and
Mhm.
why I love to do live workshops, because I don't want to just talk about, hey, there's this new tool that you can go get and you can use this. And hey, look at Sora. I want to break it down, understand it, and then say, okay, here's how you're going to marry your own creativity, your own mental acuity, your business acumen, what you know, your experiences, everything that you're bringing with you to the table. This is how you marry that to the new tools. Not this is how you replace your mind with an AI bot. And I
Mhm.
think that's the difference. I think we are positioned to take on and to be responsible. I call it digital responsibility. That's on us. Like we shouldn't be out there telling people just go use this thing and don't think anymore. We
Right.
shouldn't be teaching our kids and our youth to do that. We need to teach them still how to think. Like I want my kids to know how to use an atlas in addition to learning how to use GPS on their phone.
My God.
I'm
Somebody,
just
Right.
saying.
oh, Lord have
So
mercy. Let's just let
it's an
that marinate for a minute.
enhancement.
We'll let that marinate for a minute because, for one, you're already getting kudos on the audio. MBH is saying, your audio was on point. I don't know, I got all these microphones in here too, and ain't nobody saying nothing about my microphone.
Well, you know.
Well,
All
but
right.
I think to Tanya's point though too is where I guess you could say I'm a little bit turned off is when I see these maybe more so it's ads. I was like, look, you can make a AI avatar video and you can stop making videos yourself.
Mm,
Just give it a thing and now you've got a video. I'm like, but then is that really you? Because a conversation I had with Vince Puglisi was AI might know what I am like today, but am I the same person 2 weeks from now? And it doesn't necessarily adapt to that. And so I think I love it for creating frameworks and for maybe like kind of checking our work. But you still don't know that it's 100% correct. But I think, too, and actually it's funny that she mentions GPS because what happens if the GPS goes down? Do you know how to read a map?
hmm
Right.
How do you operate if digital goes down? Are you lost? And I think that's one of those things that we have to remember as humans is we have to be able to operate if, for whatever reason there's a power outage. Well, I don't know what to do. My phone's not working. I don't
Yeah.
know how to, boil water because I would ask my AI stove to do whatever. So I think that's where we have to not forget, some of the things that we grew up with. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
the three of us ever imagined we would be doing what we're doing now. I know I didn't. Maybe you guys did because you're smarter than me. But I think that the AI is definitely something that I look at it. It's a tool. We need to learn to use it, and I love how Tanya talks about we got to have that digital responsibility.
Yeah. I love that, and I love the questions and the comments coming in as well. Shirley B is talking. Appreciate you for being here. My friend says, "Remember the ad? Is it live or is it Memorex?" This is what the
Mm-hmm.
question was. AI is
Yeah.
being used for everything. Um, and then Dr. Stone says something as well. It is possible to use AI and continue to think critically. I think that's kind of where I wanted to take the conversation as well, and I see people engaging from that perspective. The fact that we're using it as a tool, we're not using it as a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
We're using these algorithms and these large language models and all these various capabilities to. I always talk about taking steps out of the workflow, right? At
Yeah.
the end of the day, if I can be more productive and effective with my time, 1,440 minutes per day. Shouts out to Florence Donald on that for reminding me of that every time I talk to her. Um, but that's the whole idea, right? Because look, I procrastinate. I wait till the last minute. I'm a last
Yeah.
in, first out kind of guy. Whatever. If I can be more efficient in my usage of time
Mm-hmm.
and by using tools, but not relying on it to give me the entire thing. I like what you said, Jim, too. Right, setting it up, using these tools as frameworks.
Mm-hmm.
Right, just giving it an idea to brainstorm. I can't call Tanya at midnight all the time when I got an idea or something. Because listen, she probably cussed me out.
I'll be asleep.
She won't even pick up the phone, ladies and gentlemen.
I
I'm
won't
trying to
even pick it up.
call. I'm trying to. But when I have one of those brain fart moments, and at the end of the day, and I want to get some ideas out, leveraging these tools to set up the conversation, set up the dialogue, and then still go deeper. I think instead of making an assumption, we have to have this conversation that use the tools, but do your own research, do your homework, put
Yes.
in the work so you understand what you're actually getting from these tools. Does that kind of make sense?
It
Yeah.
does, and
Yeah.
and I got a question, I guess for the two of you because I've seen this as well as say whether it's we'll call it the the people that make graphic designers and some of these other people are
Mhm.
scared that their job is going to go
Yeah.
away because of AI. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think that, yeah, there's that possibility to some extent, but how do we address that things are going to change? I mean, even like the actors, right? They're fearful of like, oh, they're going to start writing scripts and create movies
Mhm.
that are nothing but AI. And yes, people will watch that because they just want to be entertained.
I
And your
think we have
opinion.
to find new ways to. I think it's just like with every revolution, right? The Industrial Revolution, all the different ones, right? All the different transitions that we've had throughout history. There is loss. And so there will be loss of certain jobs, but there's also huge opportunities. So finding ways to leverage the tools, again, with what you know, is what will help you to differentiate and to sit in a new seat, sit in a new driver's seat, in a new car, and drive it in a way that no one else can. So if I'm a photographer today, not only am I going to learn how to, or leverage my experience in photography because I do high profile photography, but I'm now going to start using AI tools to help me to speed up the process of editing, to make things even more beautiful, to design unique backgrounds that are on top of what I took a realistic picture of. I'm going to offer more services because I'm learning how to leverage AI plus what I know. That's what's going to help people who are in these traditional positions and careers to still be relevant and create new opportunities for themselves, because
Yeah.
what's going to differentiate them from the person who is just off the street trying to use AI tools to do photography, right? Or to create fake photographs. What's going to differentiate them is that they still have that knowledge and that experience, and they know the language to use for prompting. They know the cinematic themes and styles. They know all of this stuff that the average person's not going to know just simply because that wasn't their occupation or career. So I feel like we have to remember and remind folks that are fearful that with every revolution, with every transition in history, there will be losses, but it's up to you. Again, the digital responsibility thing, it's up to you to decide how much you want to learn. You stop putting your head in the sand and saying, oh, I don't want to learn that. I'm just going to keep doing what I've always done. None of us can do what we've always done. We have to take what we know, what we've learned, our experience. And this is why I think Gen X, for instance, like I'm such a huge fan of our generation because we know all the manual things, right?
Yeah.
We knew about how, you could roll a window up and down with the right.
Kids
We
don't
know
know
that.
nothing
With a
about that.
handle?
And we know the EVs. And so we get a chance to, wherever you are, whatever generation you're in, you need to marry what you know right now. You need to marry your understanding of historical context with what you're seeing in the future, what you're identifying as trends that are coming. You need to stay on top of your game. And if you can do that, that's what's going to help you to continue to thrive and not be left behind.
Much more
So
eloquent
yeah.
than anything I was going to say. I don't even know why I shouldn't even answer.
No.
Lord have mercy. Listen, y'all know I'm just here to heckle from the back of the room.
Chris is saying it. I mean, look, our legacy. And I always
Right.
talk about legacy. Like,
Yeah.
what are we leaving behind? We're leaving for the next generation the things that we know, plus they're bringing to us, hey, these are our needs right now.
Yeah.
These are the solutions we need help with. And we're able to marry the two to come up with something that's going to benefit everybody, every generation. So I just, the thing that I think bothers me most about this whole AI thing is
Yeah.
when I continue to hear people fear mongering
Mm.
Yeah.
and saying, oh, don't do that. And you don't want to, and they're, instead of really showing what it can be, what the possibilities are, we end up shutting people down from wanting to learn it. And that's the thing that's got me a little worried right now, because what it's going to do is it's going to create further disparity
Mm-hmm.
between the working classes, right, and the wealthy classes. It's going to create further division,
So this is the new
because
digital divide.
this is the people that
Okay.
know and the people that don't want to know,
Yeah.
or the people that have access and the people that don't have access. That is going to be even a wider gap than ever the more we move into this new world. And that concerns me.
Can you
Right. And oh, go ahead, Jim.
let me say one thing, because I just got to get a tangent. I'm an old guy, right? You know, I get things that they pop in my head. So do you think that you can influence into the folks who want to just mail it in? Right. Again, because we're talking about this new digital divide here, and
Yeah.
get to it before it leaves you, because the train has already started. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of folks that are still sitting on the curb, thinking that it's not real, that it's science fiction, that it's the Jetsons, and that they aren't self motivated. Do you think you can motivate those folks to get on board with what's happening? It's actually a trick
I
question.
don't Jim, did you want to look? I don't think
Well,
I can
I
motivate anybody. I think that I
That's
can
it.
do my job and I can speak out loud about what I know. And I did this the other day with a post, and I saw in the comments, people were like, wow, you gave me a whole new spin on what I should be thinking about. You really opened my eyes with just a single post. Like, we have to be vocal about what is possible. We have to actually help people make the connect between reality, like what they're living and the things that they're doing practically day to day, and what these tools can do to help them to speed up and be more efficient, and to be more effective
Mm,
with the outcomes that they get, because they're using these tools properly. But again, that goes to the whole digital responsibility thing. So it's only going to be something that I can't motivate you. I can
yeah.
educate and I can do my job and say out loud, here's what's possibility, right? But then you have to make a decision at some point about whether or not you're going to buy into that, you're going to try it at least, or you're going to just sit behind and be left behind.
I knew you were my people. Because that's literally
well, and
exactly what I say all the time. Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry, brother.
yeah, and I no, and I think, to take it a step further, is not just the digital divide of the haves and the have-nots, but also I think from you're going to call it an aging perspective, you
Yeah.
know, you have some of us that are older that are willing to be those lifelong learners. Like, okay, I got to learn how to use this technology. Great. And we have friends right now that are our same age. It's like, oh, I'm not doing that. Oh
Yep.
no, I don't want to, I want to in fact, I want a flip phone, or I even want to go back to the old, phone that I got to push the buttons on. And they don't realize how far they're going to leave themselves behind. And I think even still, as much as video is consumed, how many people still don't do video? We're
Yeah.
talking businesses, we're talking individuals, we're talking even how people still struggle to look decent on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And, really, the 2020 should have at least made you realize, like, hey, I got to at least learn how to have a good mic and a decent camera. And we still aren't there. And it just, so I think I go along with what Chris was talking about, right? That lifelong learning. And I'm also curious to see, especially, now being a grandparent, how education is going to change.
Mm,
Because
Yeah.
the reality is, when you have access to information, I sometimes feel like these professors and these teachers is like it's almost like they want to force rote memorization on people. Like, well, if you don't
Hmm.
memorize this, then you're not learning. No, it's about teaching people how to critically think. I mean, like I used to joke, I was in government contracting. Do you think I wanted to memorize the federal acquisition regulation? No. I wanted to figure out, where do I go to find the information?
Yeah.
That's what is the critical skill, is how do I find the facts and know that they're facts and not folly?
Love it.
uh, man, that's good. All right, I will answer, and then I'll move on, because the fact I I said I was a glass half full guy, but I do believe that repetitive tasks will be eliminated. I think some of the lower level, kind of entry level types of repetitive tasks will be eliminated and replaced with an algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine because as Tad was saying, you want to be the person who's programming, coding, and prompting the algorithm. You want to be the one who's telling it what is right and what's wrong and what to do next. You want to be a continual learner. So you don't necessarily want to be in that same entry level associate position. Not wrong with it. Shouts out to you. Right out of school, do your thing. But there should be kind of an upward mobility that you're looking for. And I again agree that you can't motivate anyone else. I can't motivate you. If you don't come show up, if you just want to mail it in, I got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Right. If you're not trying to push it, if you're not trying to move, if you're not trying to be progressively forward, you just want to sit at the curb and drink St. Ides all day. I just dated myself again with that. But shout out to the St. Ides. Um, if you just want to do that, again, I got to cut you off from the club because that's not who I want to roll with. So continually learning, continually educating yourself, seeing that this technology is here, it's not going and it's not leaving, it's here. So get on board or get left behind. And those are the
Yeah.
folks that are going to be able to retrain, re-engineer themselves. Right. The
Mm-hmm.
folks that realize that some of those redundant, repetitive, relatively easy tasks are going to be replaced. And we kind of want that. We want to be more efficient, more effective. So if you don't stay on board, if you don't get on board, then you're going to get left behind. And Tanya's going to be, look, 2 miles down the road. Jim's going to be 1 mile. I'm going to be right there with you. We're going to try to catch up. But you want to hang out with winners like this. You want to hang out. Okay, let me see what's going on. What's going on. What's that? Oh Lord, let me straighten up. Mama's in the building.
I
Oh,
know. Mom's in the house. Hey,
hey,
Mom.
let me sit up straight and make sure I didn't say nothing about anybody. Mama, appreciate you for being here as we talk these things. Uh, Chris Stone, I'm a mad dog to see. I'm not. Melanie probably drinking an
Guarantee
old fashioned,
2020.
but I'm not gonna put her business out on the streets right now. She's
Oh,
probably drinking an old fashioned right now, hanging out and. All right, so we talked about everyday AI, talked about it replacing jobs, kind of the next evolution of that, and kind of being smart about that. We kind of touched on this topic as well. I want to ask about culture. I want to talk about opportunities for um, that digital divide perspective as well, and kind of what your thoughts on that. Do you see the access to these tools as being open to everyone? Or do you see kind of close of the guard? I don't know what I'm trying to say, but do you think everyone has access to the same types of tools, right? If you got access to the internet, if you got access to a laptop or web browser, whatever, do you think, and do you think everyone has access to a Coursera or to a whomever where they can start learning about how to leverage these tools? And either one, you can go first.
Go ahead, Tanya.
that's an interesting question. And this is the way I'm going to answer it. I think that there are certain tools that are accessible. We know most of them, right? We know ChatGPT, so OpenAI, we know Claude, we know the ones that are the common and more popular ones. Does everyone have access to the more advanced levels of LLMs? No, no. Um, but we can start with the basics. We could start with where we are. What is really cool to me is seeing, and this is something that I really want to explore myself, is seeing that there are programs that are being developed for our next generations, programs that are being developed for youth to understand AI on a basic level, and then, moving up to different advanced reasoning tactics and all of that kind of stuff, right? So I love that there are people that are putting together, for instance, I would love to do a nonprofit for Black youth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who may or may not have access to some of the things that we're talking about today, or they don't even know it exists to
Yeah.
be able to go access. I want to just start with the basics, right? But I don't think everybody has equal access to understanding how to use these tools. Even if it looks like, hey, this is free and you can go use ChatGPT, they don't have access to the education behind how you leverage that
Yeah.
free
There we go.
open AI,
There we go.
right? And that's the thing. Another, when I talk about the digital divide and how concerned I am about that, there is this level of ignorance that some have simply because they haven't been exposed to or introduced to. And instead, what they're seeing on TikTok and other spaces is the fear mongering that I was talking about. For a period of time, a couple of weeks ago, I had multiple people that were in my inbox just blasting me with, did you know that AI can do this and it's being used against this group of people? And I was getting like slammed with them. And that's the reason why I wrote the post that I shared the other day, because I was like, okay, hold up. What is happening is you are being influenced by the fear instead of looking behind it to see, why is it that they don't want me to know about this? Why do they not want me to have access and to have courage to go and try this out? Instead of asking that question, you went straight to, oh, we shouldn't use this. We're going to stop using it now because I saw this TikTok. Right? So
Everything on the TikTok and the Facebook, y'all, ain't true.
right,
Okay. Okay.
I'm telling you. So we got to ask the right questions. We have to ask, why would you not want me to know? The biases are there, yes. So now we have to educate ourselves about how to combat that. How do we use that for our good? And how are we educating other people who are in our circle of influence? If my grandmother were still alive today, I would be talking to her about, here's how this can make your life easier, Grandma. I'm just going to show you a couple of things that you can do, right?
Yeah.
Using your phone.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't think everybody has equal access to the information. I think they might have access to some of the tools, but they don't have access to the knowledge behind how to best use those tools.
Jim, I'll let you chime in, but see, this is the conversation that's above the noise. This is it was a little bit difficult for you to get that answer out because, again, this isn't the typical live stream YouTuber conversation, right? This is actually getting into some meat and potatoes, but this is where these folks are, ladies and gentlemen. This is where these co-hosts are, and that's the content that is going to matter. That's going to show longevity. That's going to show your subject matter expertise. That's going to show your longevity as an influence. No, I don't like the word influencer. I know, as an advocate, I hate the word influencer. But
Advocate, I like that.
right, that's what we need to be talking about more. So I appreciate you being open and sharing. I'm setting you guys up with all these curveballs, but I'm loving the way it's going because we think very similar. Dr. Fuse, talk to him. You
Well,
continue.
I think for me, and this goes back to what she's talking about, is in creating the fundamentals for success. How do we teach? And like I said, I think maybe I'm more concerned as a grandparent of
Come on.
grandkids that will be in school in a few years. How do we
Mhm.
ensure that they're being taught to critically think and not just being given this, oh, just ask the computer this and take it for what
Yeah.
it's worth? It's almost like you still need to learn how to read a book with paper. You still need to learn how to write. You still need to learn how to communicate with people face to face and not just be talking AI avatar to AI avatar. Because then, you could even say when two AI avatars are talking, is that really a conversation? You see that sometimes, right? With these emails you get, you can tell it was made by AI. So should I
Yeah.
respond or should I have my AI respond? And then, so I think those are some of the things that we have to be thinking about as we move forward. And I think, you know, we have a lot of people still kind of stuck in, that's the way we've always done it. I mean, even for me, and some people may not like this. I mean, the three of us have become friends, but yet we've only seen each other in person very rarely. But if I spent all my time going to these in-person networking events, would it really grow my business? Would it really grow my knowledge
Mm,
base?
mm.
Or am I just, as they like to say, you're being active, but are you being productive?
Oh my God.
Right.
And so that's where,
Shoot, y'all talking.
because we have the power of the internet,
Yeah.
right? We we can we can have conversations anywhere in the world at any time.
Yep.
And I think that's where people are kind of missing the boat of like, what, because going back to what Tanya's saying about what are you going to do in the future that's going to be relevant, that's going to make people want to work with you? Because to your point, some of these, tasks and skills are going to go away because there'll just be technology that can do it. I mean, I've been involved in some events that I could see where, well, why do you have a person checking someone in when it could all be done with, just by scanning information like, okay, the
Yeah.
person's allowed in,
Yeah.
Hmm.
but we're still kind of stuck in like, well, this is how we've always done it, but it also wastes a lot of time and money. So that's some of what I see as, where things, I don't know how quickly things will change, um, but just the fact of the analysis you can get by using AI to give you ideas and suggestions that if you tried to do it on your own, like prior to AI, would have taken you forever.
Yeah. Let me do this. Let me ask this because you definitely hit on something right there. Being busy does not mean you're productive. You're being
Hmm.
active, but are you being productive as well? So Florence and Chris chimed in on that. So you dropping gems over here, ladies and gentlemen. At least like, subscribe, follow them too. Subscribe to their channels. I'm more make sure you follow these folks because this is where the winner's at. Be active, not passive, proactive and not reactive. Doug over
Yes,
here.
Doug.
That's a
My
good one.
goodness.
Yes.
He
In
over here
layman's
preaching.
terms.
Yes.
All
He over here
right.
dropping gems left and right, ladies and gentlemen. So what do we do? So the onus now, again, you guys know 10% more than the other folks. And I think there is a responsibility. Or let me ask you this. Do you think you have the responsibility to reach back, help the new folks coming up? And if you have an example, I know it's probably a very generalistic question. And in the comments as well, how do we do that? How do we educate? How do we bring folks forward? What examples do we do? Is it by no, I'm not even gonna ask. I'm just gonna put that question to you two. Do we have that onus one to kind of educate those that are behind us, and how do we do that? Because I think society will be better overall
Hmm.
if there are some goats, if there are some leaders, if there are some folks who have been there, done that, and are willing to spend the time, energy, and effort to educate and enlighten and entertain a little bit too.
Well,
I'll leave
let's
that.
let the lady from Texas go first.
The lady from Texas has the floor, ladies and gentlemen. Go right ahead.
Here's my thought on that. I think that, yes, we have an opportunity to be able to reach back. And when it comes to, when I say reach back, I don't necessarily mean even reach back in generations. I think that, like you said, if we're 10% ahead of anyone, then whoever it is that's willing to learn, we're reaching to them. Here's one of the things that I think I try to do, and that is not lecture people. I see a lot of lecturing going on social media. It's become a thing. It's like people rant and rave against other people who don't know what they do, who don't believe the way that they do, who don't look like they do, whatever it might be, right? If there's a difference, then you're ranting at them. I don't think that's going to be the way to help people to come along for the ride. I think the best way is to show people practical bridges, meaning that you're sharing with them, okay, let me understand you first, and let me understand what your needs are and what you struggle with, what your challenges are. And then I'm going to practically show you how AI, technology, automation, systems thinking, critical thought process, I'm going to show you how using that will get you to where you want to be. This is one of the reasons why I stopped a while ago doing the on-demand courses, because people buy those courses and they sit on the shelf and they never do anything with them. But when we're doing a live class or a live workshop, I always add a co-working element to that, because I don't want you to just hear what I'm saying because I'm talking at you. I want you to implement and apply it to your today. Whatever's happening with you in your day to day and how you're doing things now, I want you to see the bridge between what you're doing now and how that can be transformed with the power of the tools and the systems thinking. I want you to see that. Because I think, honestly, then, James, that's the only way people will truly take a hold of it and say, oh, I get it. Now this makes sense to me. Now I can see why this is a positive and a good thing. But talking at people and constantly ranting at them and telling them they're dumb or they're stupid or this is why you're not successful. I hate seeing those type of posts when people are comparing themselves and their knowledge to what other people are doing or know.
Yeah.
It's about bringing people along by showing them the practical bridge between what they do now and what is possible. So I guess that's my answer.
I love it. I mean, I know for me, and kind of an old joke is my tagline. I used to use my last name was "I'm fired up to help you succeed," and so that's kind of how I look at these things. Is my goal, and part of that is like even in the Marine Corps, the officer enlisted relationship. It's kind of the teacher scholar sort of thing. Help your Marines to become better because they got to take over from you down the road. So I look at that way in business as well as how can I help you get better? But I can only help you get as good as you want to be. Doesn't matter what I want you to do. And I'm sure we've all dealt with that, even with our own children.
Yeah.
We have
Mhm.
things we'd like them to do, but they're going to make their own decisions, but we're still going to love them. We're still going to be there for them. And I think I kind of look at that as well in business as like, hey, I'm always here to help you. But I also, and I think we've all learned this lesson is I got to be careful about the brain picking. I love like, Tanya talks about like, instead of doing these on demand things, let's have live classes. Let's build communities where people can ask questions. I think for me now, I'm looking at creating more short YouTube videos that can teach you something quick. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of do the same thing with my Substack. Here's an article and a video because people have different learning modalities.
Yeah.
That's where I think AI can help us kind of figure out what's the best way for me to get this out in different mediums and modes to be effective.
Jesse is in the building as well. Ex-military, 22 years. Appreciate you, sir. But he's giving you some kudos. He's chiming in. Dr. Vibe is here as well. Man, we got all of it. They all
Hoorah.
coming from Tanya's channel.
No,
No, they
they're
are.
all
No, they
coming
are.
for all
I
of
see
us.
everybody. I see what's happening. They all
He,
come.
he sees he sees it. It's the Tanya show, but that's good.
But
No, it's not.
Glad to
But
what's
I
be
good
here.
love
here?
y'all, though. Thank you for being here.
Look, just like Doug is saying, listen, Tanya, speak your speech. Wise words, motivation, and help. Again, I'm just here heckling from the back. I'm just instigating. But right. So I hope the audience who may not know me, again, you know, 'cause since we're streaming live on both Jim and Tanya's channels as well, understand kind of what I'm doing. I'm layering on consciously and purposely the discussion pieces. I'm setting it up with the premise and looking for the dialogue. Every week I never share with them the whole insights in terms of what we're going to talk about. And it just turns there's a lesson that always comes out. There's always tangible. It's probably frustrating and nerve-wracking for them as well because they're like, oh, I can't prepare for it. You don't want to prepare
No,
for it.
it's not.
We want to go right off the
Fun.
cuff, but at the end of the day, we are
You're making
saying,
us think. You're making us
Yeah.
okay,
critically think.
you get it. Okay,
Yeah,
but I got to say it
absolutely.
out loud because other folks, just
They may
who
not
may
know.
not
They may
know.
think we have a structured outline, which we have nothing. Like there
No.
was a
We
one-liner.
just had
This
that
is what we're going
topic.
to talk about.
That's it. It was just a topic. Yep. And I think he told us this morning, didn't he? Or maybe it was
This
yesterday.
afternoon.
It was this afternoon. It wasn't even
Yeah.
this morning.
Oh, okay. See,
And I was
I'm
just like, okay.
like I said, last in, first out. I'm not trifling. Listen, it was on purpose. Again, it's a conscious to make sure that we stay fresh with this conversation. And I think it's more lively. I know it's more lively because again,
It
it's
is.
causing us to not put on airs. We're actually saying how we truly operate in our own entrepreneurship and our own businesses. What Tanya's doing with her podcast, with her Substack, with her GPT generation, we've touched on each piece of that. Jim, what you say, what you're now changing your methodology in terms of creating shorter, more engaged learning videos on your channels, that matters. And those are actionable things. Again, we can't motivate other folks to get it done, but we can tell them some tangible tasks and skills that we're leveraging as well, that they might work or they might not. I think they're going to work because we're willing to actually put in the work and measure it as well. So we'll throw something against the wall, but we've got a plan, and we'll measure it. We'll look at the analytics, things of that nature. So again, I'm over here just trying to set precedents that I know what I'm doing, y'all. We're not just throwing this against the wind here. So this is it's working out perfectly as it always is. All about an open conversation. Thank you, Jesse. See, there you go, Jesse. My goodness, I'm gonna put that on the screen right there.
That's right.
That is how we get ahead. That's true. So let's do this. What's next? We started in the middle of the conversation talking about some of the platforms that we use, and we don't necessarily have to go down the whole slew of platforms that we're using, but um, where do you see us going in the very short term, right? We talked about browsers, we talked about um, building communities, we talked about leveraging newsletters and things like that. If you had a crystal ball of where everyday AI was going, where do you think that the industry is going? And forget about
Mhm.
the $1 trillion pay package that Elon Musk just got, because I'm upset about that. But where do you think we as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, digital creators are going in this usage of AI from an everyday perspective? How we leverage these tools, these platforms?
I'm going to go with wearables. I think as the things like the Meta glasses and some of these things start to develop, I think that's going to allow people to do things more on the move. But I think on the flip side, because there was in a speakers group I'm in, they were talking about how people could have glasses when they're on stage and it'll
Hmm.
like do a hologram of what they're talking about. But my thing about that is like, just like we're doing right now, we're doing this with no script.
Yeah.
You need to talk the real you and not sit there and basically read your slides to the audience. You need to connect with the audience. So that's, I think, the danger of having, whether it's the glasses, whether it's the watch, whether it's, holograms, it's going to change things. And I know Peter Lasowski, who I work with at Relatable, thinks we're a lot closer with this hologram stuff than we may realize.
You've been dropping a lot of names today, brother. Okay, you've been. I don't know half of these folks, but you dropping a lot of. I'm gonna rewind this. I'm gonna look at this later on. Make sure that you're not just
Look at the
making up
list.
stuff. But you've been dropping names left. Okay, okay. Tanya, go ahead. Go ahead,
I
child.
think you're so funny. I think that the tools that we used to have to go and purchase access to, the software as a service, I think that industry is being turned on its head right now because of vibe coding. I think that, and I'll give you an example. One of the things that I was doing, I created this class, this workshop that's coming up, where first I was going to do a class, which I still am, on AI brand images. So then Sora 2 came out and I was like, wow, I'm loving Sora 2. There's all kinds of applications I can see using this stuff for. So I decided, because I kept getting asked, to create a prompting class. But here's the thing, as I was writing the workshop out, I got this question. Well, do we have to go and have, the paid ChatGPT in order to access Sora 2, et cetera, et cetera? And then I found out, wait a minute, I can vibe code my own app that I can use with my workshop, so that for those people who don't have a paid account, they can just use my Sora 2 app, the platform that I've built out for them to use during the class,
Yeah.
right? Because they're paying for my class anyway. So they get that usage while they're in the class, whether they have it or not. So it's giving them another option. So what I'm saying is, I see people thinking more like along those lines, instead of, let me go out and pay for another subscription service. Hey, instead of me doing that, let me build what I want using vibe coding and other tools. That's one thing. The other thing I think I'm going to see more of is smarter assistants.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we used to see a lot more of the virtual assistants, right? That you would hire, whether it be in your own country, other countries, around the world, whatever. I think that people are getting smarter about having teams of digital assistants, with each of those assistants having individual specialized training to do a certain aspect of the work. I think we're going to see a lot more of that continue to proliferate the industry. And so for you VAs out there, what your job is you need to learn how to use AI effectively so that you can take the reins and create these systems and tools yourself.
Yeah.
Now, you might not be doing the work itself anymore, but you have a system of digital assistants that do the work you used to do quickly. And you're going to sell that as a service instead of what you used to do. So I think that there's also AI for wellness. I think mental health is a
Mm-hmm.
big thing because people are now becoming socially isolated. This started a while ago.
Yeah.
But the social isolation is also generating a need for there to be more solutions. And I think that AI is going to help with that. I think there are going to be more mental health check ins, more digital journaling opportunities, ways to be fit. I think there's just there's a whole thing, a whole industry we haven't even imagined yet that's coming. And our job, again, I keep saying our job because we know things. We have the historical context. We know where we came from. I think our job is to figure out, how do we fill the gaps of things that we used to be able to fill with people, but do so with this knowledge in addition to the people aspect, because we can't lose the human touch. We can't lose the human interaction. There are too many people that need that. So to your point earlier, and I'm going to be quiet in a second, but to your point earlier, Jim, about, do we have to be in person, in order to do things? No, we don't. But at the same time, there still needs to be opportunity for us to have that human touch, that human interaction, that voice, even if it's online through Zoom calls or through Ecamm Live like we're doing right now. But we cannot miss the human and the people aspect of what is happening here. We cannot let our kids, we can't let your grandchild, we can't let my grandniece, we can't let them suffer and be isolated and only communicate with bots and tech.
Right.
We got to figure out how we're going to encourage them to do both equally well. So
AI is only as effective as the people in charge writing the programs.
yeah.
Human touch. I want to go. You just opened up a little bit of a Pandora box. I'm gonna go down it just for a minute, just for a minute, because that's who I
Okay.
am. And then we're gonna get to your question, Florence. Who knows BitRig? I'm not sure what that is. Give us a little more context on that. All of this conversation about where we are, and again, we were getting ready to bring this plane in, but it brings up the question that I have about regulation.
Mm.
How do you feel about, again, these AI tools, these AI algorithms, these large language models are becoming progressively better every hour? Not every month, not every 6 months, but every hour. I'm not a big regulator. Again, we can be where we are with a lot of different things. We don't have to have a political conversation, whatever. But how do you feel as we continue to evolve from this technology perspective?
Mm-hmm.
Does someone need to be in the middle? Should there be a governing board? I don't know what would be called. Should someone be the council, the Jedi council of AI watchers? Or should there be rules, laws, policies in place? There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. I don't, it doesn't matter. But I'm just wondering, because again, it's almost the Wild West right now, right?
It
You've
is.
got every single company coming up with some type of new algorithm, new tool, new assistant, new
Yeah.
process. Somebody got to wrangle this in just from my perspective, and I see chat already lighting up when I bring up
Yeah.
legislation and regulation.
Yeah.
That we about to get into it. Yeah.
Look, so I'm a policy analyst in the corporate world.
Come on
Okay.
now.
So that is what I do. That's like I've been doing that for a long time, for many years. Yes, there should be policy. Yes, there should be laws. Yes, there should be regulation. All of the things you just said should be in place.
Mm.
There should be people with ethics who are running the show as it relates to how this stuff works. The challenge in this moment is that no one trusts the people that are in charge.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm concerned about the fact that it is the wild, wild west, and I don't know who to trust. I don't know that I trust any of the people who are over these LLMs because, of course, the reason why they appear to be in business is not for the betterment of mankind, but potentially because it's lining their pockets. And even if that's just a suspicion on my part, because I don't know any of them personally, I think that a lot of us are very suspicious just given the way that things have been playing out in the world over the last few years. So, yes, I agree. I think there should be all these things in place. So, I'm going to tell you personally what we have the responsibility, because I'm going to go back to the digital responsibility thing. I think each of us, if we're a business owner, if we're an entrepreneur, we need to lean in on the traditional things that we used to be told and taught to lean in on. We need to make sure we have we have the highest standard of ethics. I was working with a client yesterday who called me specifically. She said, I don't even want to talk about the stuff we normally talk about. I want you to tell me where there are holes in my process. What she was worried about is exposure because she felt like she wasn't being honest in certain aspects of the systems and the tools that she was using. And I said to her, let's examine from start to finish how you're putting people through your funnel. Where are you explaining to them that you're using this particular tool in order to capture their data and their information? How are you explaining to them how you're using that info, where it's being stored? Like, are you asking these questions of the people who are behind the scenes for your company and your business so that you can set it up to be truthful and honest and real with people about how you're using their info? That starts with us as the owners. We can't necessarily rely on government, on regulation, on all of those things right now in this time because there's a lot of mistrust. But do those things need to be in place? Absolutely. And I hope that they will be at some point. And I hope that we will somehow regain trust in those different systems. I just don't know that it exists today. That's my honest and transparent feeling on this. So I'm taking responsibility for my own business to say I'm truthful. The ethical considerations that I think about are to protect you and to protect me and my family, right? So anytime I'm having a call with a one-on-one client, I'm saying to them, would you like me to record this conversation? I ask them up front at the beginning of the call. And then I tell them the only way that this transcript will be used is it's going to be used in one of the two or the three following ways. And I lay it out for them so that they are clear on exactly how that info is being used. Making sure that you're integrating and incorporating some type of information into your terms of service and your privacy policy about the use of AI. Mari Smith shared something the other day that a lot of people were up in arms about. She talked about a speaker clause and having a speaker clause that tells people exactly how you're okay or not okay with them using your likeness, whether it's your voice or your physical appearance, with the use of AI. These are things we as individual owners and entrepreneurs may have to think of on our own while the rest of the world and the industry and the regulators that are supposed to be doing it, while they're doing their job eventually.
Mm.
So,
Mr.
Oh
Fuse.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, she hit on a lot of the things. I mean, we have a lot of quote unquote rules and regulations in place today. but they're not enforced. And I think that's the concern I have. And even if you look sometimes at, we'll just call the leadership, whether it's at the local, state, or federal level, they don't have the knowledge base to make good decisions, or they're being fed the information to make those decisions by groups or people that don't necessarily have our best interest at heart, but their own pocketbook.
Appreciate y'all. We got to breathe. We got to exhale just because we did.
Yeah.
I took y'all down one right there. But
Yes, you
again,
did.
above the noise, above the line, and we had to have that conversation. The comments was on point as well, in alignment with what we were talking about, Jesse and Florence and Dr. Vibe, everyone, and John. I see you in the building as well. We're gonna go and bring this plane in, but that's the conversation right there. It was a mini masterclass. It was a mini workshop. Y'all, again, go subscribe to Tanya's channel. Go subscribe to Jim's channel. If you want to subscribe to mine as well, that would be amazing. But the information that was provided, hopefully it brought value to you, right? Because again, at the core level, talking about AI and its uses from an everyday basis, and I really wanted to make sure we talked about the entrepreneurs, the solopreneurs, the digital creators, who we are, who we relate to, and that's a large swath of all of our communities, right? Solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and digital creators. So finding value, finding actually actionable things that folks can do today to make themselves better. We can't motivate you if you're not motivated, but we can give you these tools and we can give you some direction. The ball's in all of our courts now to go do the thing. So share this episode, rewind it, watch it again. Appreciate Shirley says she's gonna chop this up. She's gonna do my clipping for me. So I'll send you some Venmo or something. Appreciate you sis for that. It's just what we do, ladies and gentlemen. Technologist Forum. We meet every Thursday. I bring on members of the family as co-hosts, and we chop it up and we talk about the things that matter. Hopefully, you found value in the conversation. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, still let me know. Right. In the
Make sure they
description,
follow you, Higgs.
I'm
Yeah, come
humble.
on
I'm
now.
humble. I just y'all.
You are, but you do such a wonderful job, first of all, of like you said, you're masterful. You didn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. You're masterful at making things seem simple. So providing us with the topic and then allowing us to really speak from the heart on things. That's so important. Not only speaking from the heart, but you're actually selecting, I think, the peers that I see on the panel every week. They're people who are thought leaders within their own niche, and what they do is amazing already outside of these walls. But when we come together, I think it's really incredible. And you've done that. It's because we trust you and we know you that we said, yeah, sure, I'll sign up when you were asking, like, who wants to be on these panels. That's why I come every month. So
Yep.
I want to thank you and give you your flowers too. And we know you just got off a plane not that long ago.
Yeah.
And
12
we're
hours
like,
ago.
hey,
12 hours ago.
okay.
Yeah,
So
Dr. Hicks, I'm not going to give you any flowers, but I might give you some bourbon. But yeah, I would agree with Tanya. It's kind of one of those things, right? Like if either one of you were to ask me to do something, of course I'm going to say yes. Because I trust you. I've gotten to know you both, and I think we all are very much alike in things that we think in, not just in the tech space, but in general. You're both genuinely good people that, I think are great role models for all of us. And so, yeah, I love when we get a chance to talk, and like you said, the format is great because this isn't like a script of like, okay, well, we got to cover this or that. It's just kind of goes where it goes, and you're
yeah.
seeing the real people.
There you go. I appreciate y'all. That's what we're going to do. So, folks, again, chime in. Okay, subscribe to this one too, but make sure you get theirs. We will see you next week for another discussion. Tanya brought up vibe code, and I'm going to put that in our Notion database because I think we need to talk a little bit about that as well, because that's crazy, and just how powerful that is and where it's going already. So I think we're gonna talk about that as well. Y'all be good to yourselves, and I will see you. I don't know when I'm gonna see you, but I'm gonna see y'all next time.